Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Ajuna Sharawat, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these esteemed interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulae for many. And this is what we hope these sessions are: a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Peter Immanuel. Welcome, Peter, to FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peter has worked for organizations across industries demanding some of the most varied skills and dynamic job roles. Although his core expertise lies in aeronautics, aerospace defense, avionics, and aviation, Peter also possesses skills in domains like e-learning and profit growth and training management. Currently, as a founder and CEO, Peter has 3 decades-long experience and has reached the point of maturity in the form of his own startup, Pepekash Consulting LLP. Peter is also a co-founder of Eco Aviation, where he provides his support and expertise across the globe to ventures with innovative business models. Given his flair for technology, Peter has worked at senior roles, namely as a CEO, head of Aviation MRO Business, director and head of enterprise management. Being an aeronautical engineer, Peter has also given his invaluable contributions to Indian Air Force in the service of the nation as a technology and military leader for over 22 years. Great to have you, Peter, on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
Honor for us as well. Firstly, we would like to know, you have handled non-technological roles. However, technology has been your core expertise. So what is the reason for this?
Yes, you're right. When you said I've been exposed to non-tech areas, especially such as leadership, strategy. I've also got wide exposure to administration, finance. I've managed multi-location operations spread across wide geography. Talking about my technology background, that's the foundation. Probably that's where I started. I am diversely or widely educated or qualified. I'm an electronics engineer by my degree, and then I was trained as aeronautical engineer. I did my post-graduation in IIT Kharagpur in industrial engineering and management. While that is the knowledge part, but I've also been working in very related areas, and subsequently used that to move into other adjacent possible areas. For example, avionics, aviation management was one area in which I was working. And then I will be using the concepts like, say, supply chain management, operations, research, systems analysis. These were some of the areas which I learned in my industrial engineering. I've been using it, and also got exposure to finance, equity analysis, and things like that. Yes, because of my engineering education, my technology background, I have that analytical mind. So I've been using my knowledge. I've been also across various levels of hierarchies in organizations. And I'm expert in handling diverse stakeholders, multiple stakeholders. I also have cross-functional experience. But yes, I'm a core technology man, but now I have used all these skills, the knowledge which I acquired, and the understanding in problem solving in the organizations where I was working, bringing about change, bringing about growth.
Peter, could you also tell our viewers about your journey of becoming a director? Previously a CEO of 2 companies and now co-founding a startup and founding one of your own.
See, after my stint in the armed forces, I was working as a professor in a business school. There I was taking subjects like supply chain management, workplace counseling, engineering management or technology management, subjects like that. I was also responsible for the industry engagement. During this time, I was called for a specific role. Skill India was advancing, growing up in this country. It was an industry-led initiative, government-backed. So in the area of aerospace and aviation, HAL and Bangalore Chamber of Industry, Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, they were finding it very difficult to set up a sector skill council because of the nature of the industry. Various stakeholders need to interact and engage with multiple ministries, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Skill Development, engage with various state governments and also with big industrial bodies, not only organizations like CII or ASSOCHAM, but also with the domain-specific industry bodies. So they said, why don't you come here? So I was tasked to set up the company, start it up, bring all these stakeholders on board, like people like manufacturing companies like HAL, Boeing, Airbus, all the airlines, airports, government agencies. So all of them were brought on board. I was responsible for developing the Indian aerospace and aviation skills framework. It was a very massive task. During this time, I was awarded the CEO with highest quality orientation award also. Then I was selected by a German company. They asked me, why don't you come and help us? So it was a startup environment, and I was supposed to rebrand the company. And during the time, I developed a digital platform, a tech platform, which was cloud-based. And it was a very comprehensive solution. So that was developed during this time. And during this time, immediately after this platform was ready, we were impacted by COVID. But the business was continuing without any disturbance. And this company, being an engineering services company, I helped them to set up a digital MRO vertical. See, aviation is a very complex domain, especially aviation MRO. So all the solutions which we had, we were all monolithic and in nature. Then I was introducing solutions, based on microservices-based architecture. So that was what I helped them. Then I understand technology. I have used technology. I've been advisor, mentor, helping companies to scale up, helping them in their fundraising, market access, customer acquisition, and things like that. Then I said, why not start my own company? So with that network, with that capability, I started a company. That's the Pepekash Consulting LLP. The vision is to make a positive impact in the corporate and the society. And I've also joined, I'm a co-founder in another aviation startup. We have big visions, but now these are early stages. So that has been my journey in towards in the corporate world.
Very inspirational. At this point, we would also like to know from you, what technological changes have you seen that have altered the aviation industry? And how do you envisage such changes with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, Web 3.0, and blockchain?
See, if you see the aerospace industry, I can divide it into 5 subsectors: design and development, manufacturing and assembly, airlines, airport operations, and MRO. So the impact of technology on each of these subsectors are slightly different. Okay, so if you take the design sector, digital twins, AR, MR, these are making impact in design and development area. If you take the airports, they are getting fully automated. If you, for example, the Singapore airport, or even many of the Indian airports, they're all getting fully automated, and digital is making an impact. When you talk of airlines, data analytics is one area which is making impact. If you talk of the MRO sector, MRO digitalization is making huge impact. AR, MR is being used by technicians in their daily activities, and even blockchain and Web 3.0, these technologies, these emerging trends are impacting the MRO sector. Now, what is the future? Even when I was developing the national skills framework, the aerospace framework, a few years ago, I was telling people drones are going to make a huge impact in the country or in the world. And then immediately, now, if you see, drone has become a sector or an industry by itself. Government has made many policy initiatives, and that's huge. But now, if you see now, I'm seeing flying cars, autonomous flying cars. Research and development is happening across the world, maybe 10 years down the line. There's all these smart equipment or vehicles, self-driven, self-autonomous, flying, communicating with each other in a grid of IoT and hidden airways. Now we have all roadways. This is what is going to happen. But technology is going to make a huge impact in the aerospace and aviation industry. And I'm expecting even the digital air traffic management market is going to be a huge market. So the aerospace and aviation is not going to be a very isolated sector. It's going to work. It's going to be an interdisciplinary approach. That's what is the impact of technology.
Very, very fascinating. Now, from technology to ESG. Peter, do you think that there's a need for better ESG integration in any of the fields you have worked for?
There is going to be a lot of ESG integration, and there's scope for the growth also. If you take aviation, sustainable aviation fuel is going to be very important area. And a lot of research is going on in renewable energy for aircraft, electric aircraft, and more research will come with the intention or with the aim of reducing the carbon footprint. When you take up the aerospace sector, they are all organized in a very different format. We have prime integrators. There's a big supply chain network, hundreds of components, thousands of component makers. So prime integrator, there are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, likewise suppliers. So we need to build ESG into the supply chain of the aerospace industry. vendor awareness, environmental issues on how to handle the thing, how to be ethical, aligning with the ESG goals. That's going to be a huge opportunity in the aerospace sector. If you take the engineering services sector, even there are a lot of big facilities, tech parks available, energy monitoring. How do we intervene? How do we control automatically and save, reduce the energy cost or the power? We can. There's a need, or there are opportunities in green building, green tech parks, and even small initiatives like reducing the travel time of the employees. Yes, there are some areas the corporates, the companies can do, but there are certain areas where even the government intervention is required in getting this ESG integration.
Now, since you are an ESG certified corporate governance expert, we would like to know what values do you bring to the table?
See, if you take a ESG, environmental, societal, and governance, so they can be mapped into the economy, the corporate, the companies, the society, and also the environment. Now, this is where the 3 P's come, triple bottom line: profit, people, and the planet. Let's see how all these things have been evolving in the Indian context. The late 90s, after the liberalization, corporate governance has been making a huge impact with the rise of IT industry. Companies like Infosys, corporate governance has been adding value to our ecosystem, the Indian economy. Even a lot of regulatory changes have happened through in the capital markets, through SEBI, and definitely the corporate governance in India has it's good. Now, if you take the previous decade, CSR has been made making deep inroads. There is a legislation. Companies are mandated to get into CSR, contribute to the society. And now the ESG is just emerging. You know, we are setting into the thing, and this is going to be a big opportunity. I've been a strong advocate of corporate governance, either because of my upbringing or my exposure or the military background. I have been involved in many large CSR projects in areas such as livelihood projects, enhancing the employability of the youth. Even now, research has been added. You know, companies like IIT, corporate social responsibility funds can be invested in research. So these are some of the areas which I would be able to contribute. If you talk about CSR, the industry, there's scope for growth. You know, people, the companies have to do with sincerity. It has to be voluntary, and end of the day, it has to be impactful. As I mentioned just now, ESG is just beginning, you know, and I'm sure Indian companies will do well in this area as well. Indian ESG network is being launched very shortly in the coming week in New Delhi in another few days. I've been invited. I'm one of the panel speakers in the event. So that's how I think I can add value to the corporate governance and in the ESG space.
Congratulations for being one of the panel speakers. We will really, we are looking forward to it. And we will surely like to join. Now, coming to the last bit, which is, as you're aware, that we are building FaceTime with Leaders community for cross-pollination of knowledge and a community of independent directors for having a better corporate governance in the country. What are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Zishan Pathan and Heval Mehta and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Keval, Ishan, and World Development Team of the World Directors Institute, you've been playing a pioneering role in the corporate governance and the ESG space. See, the Indian economy has grown like anything. When we were growing up, Indian economy was nowhere. Now it kept on growing, and now we are in the top 5. Now the challenge is, how do we maintain? How do we grow further? Now the last mile is going to be more difficult. Moving from 5th position to 4th position, 3, 2, and moving to number 1. That's going to be very tough. That's where ESG is going to play a key role. That's what is going to give a strong foundation, and therefore ESG is going to be very important for India, for our economy. And therefore, you people are in the right space, right place, and in the right direction. On the FaceTime with leaders, impactful ESG can only be achieved through knowledge, spreading of knowledge and awareness. The second thing is visibility of what is happening. What is happening within our country, in other companies, elsewhere. So these are some of the things which will be achieved by this effort which you're making. And finally, on the platform which you are creating for the independent directors, this is going to help in achieving all the things just what I mentioned. And therefore, all of you are doing the right thing, and my good wishes and all the very best.
Thank you for this very insightful feedback and motivating one. And it was a very valuable and fantastic conversation with you. And I'm confident that your insights will inspire the future leaders. Thank you for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors.